Welcome to day 25 of our Lent readings for 2025, looking at the Psalms. Today we're going to be looking at Psalm 100. So let's read together. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. Back in 2013, on the 4th of June, Queen Elizabeth celebrated 60 years of being on the throne of the United Kingdom. You may remember it. A service of celebration was held at Westminster Abbey, and the first hymn sung at the service was "All People That on Earth Do Dwell." It is a paraphrase of Psalm 100. It was written by William Keith, a 16th century Scot, who was exiled into Europe at that time because of his Protestant beliefs. While he was there in Europe, he helped to translate the Geneva Bible, an English Bible translation that preceded the King James translation by 51 years. It was the Bible that was preferred by many well-known people in that era, including William Shakespeare, Oliver Cromwell, John Bunyan, and John Knox, the Scottish reformer, among others. It was also the Bible that accompanied the Pilgrim Fathers on the Mayflower as they set sail from Plymouth to America in 1620. Sometimes it's amazing to think how different things are linked together through history. The original writer probably composed this psalm just to be sung as worship in the Jerusalem temple, never imagining that one day it would later be incorporated into the Hebrew Scriptures. It comes at the end of a series of 8 psalms known as the Royal Psalms, Psalms 93 right through to 100. They are all characterised by phrases such as "the Lord reigns," "shout aloud," "tell among the nations," as they celebrate the kingly reign of the Lord. The writer would never have imagined that his words would later be taken 2,000 years later and paraphrased into a hymn by an influential Bible translator, and still less that they would later be sung at a celebration of a queen reigning 2,500 years later that would be broadcast around the world to the nations. You never know what the Lord will do with what you offer him. Consider the gospel story of the feeding of the 5,000. A young boy was brought to Jesus and offered his fairly basic lunch of 5 loaves and 2 fish to help feed the large crowd that had gathered in a remote place to listen to the teachings of Jesus. But as you all know, Jesus takes what appears to be a meagre offering and multiplies it to be enough to feed not only the crowd, but have enough left for the disciples to collect up afterwards 12 baskets full of pieces. I like to think of that young lad's mother. Imagine earlier that day. She was putting his lunch together out of what was available, never imagining that we would still be talking about it 2,000 years later. Whatever you offer to the Lord today, whether 5 small loaves of bread, 5 short verses of a psalm, 5 minutes of your time, whether our works or our words, our experience, our advice, our time. Whatever we give, pray that God will take it and multiply it for his glory, way beyond our expectations. Everything we do has implications and consequences. Nothing we do is ever wasted in the hands of the Lord. Remember the prayer of Paul in Ephesians 3, when he reminds us that God is in the business of doing immeasurably more than we ask or imagine. Until next time, have a blessed day.